Starsector has many factions. Main factions present in the game, minor factions put into one big faction, so independents and pirates. Lore factions not present in the game, and then there's the third type of faction, the redacted. For a long time there were only two types of the redacted. Blue, fun and hard to beat redacted, and the other type people don't care about. Now, because of a new faction, new lore released, I took a new interest if it comes to this faction of old. Today I want to explore it. Hello, I'm the Steel Merchant, and today I want to explore the Derelicts faction of Starsector. Warning, spoilers and badly structured research of lore ahead. You have been warned. Derelicts, the drone ships, survey ships and siege ships of the domain, used from the beginning of human expansion across the stars. Automated machines with varying forms and levels of intelligence, some sentient, some semi-sentient. Their forms simple, often looking like boxes. Without shields, these drones were made to withstand radiation and time. That they do, being thousands of cycles old. Their weapons simple, their mobility average, almost all types lacking shields, but there are models of them that pack a punch and take on many. Their weapons, although simple, powerful, their armor thick, more capable to withstand more than just time and radiation. There are few types of derelicts we have encountered so far. Purpose of most of them was to bolster frontier garrisons, fight against rebellions in wars of attrition, and of course surveying the galaxy, setting planets for the coming of the domain and showing its strength against the rebels. All those drone ships were outlawed in the core domain space, so they were okay in the fringes, basically frontiers of the domain. This statement here was surely one of the reasons Tritaion went to war against the hegemony. After all, Persean sector is a frontier, so using automated ships should be fine. This was probably a casus belli Tritaion used against the hegemony, unleashing the first AI war. Let's start with the most common derelicts, one of which was the Defender, one of the most common drones used for convoys and outposts on the fringes. Their role, point defense. Picket, another common derelict, was programmed for close range attacks with its light caliber fire, useful against reckless lightly armored ships. Sentry is a fire support for the derelict fleets. Armed with missiles, it supports attack from pickets and other derelicts, while Defender defends. Warden, a more powerful version of the picket, used to destroy unshielded targets. Anti-armored drone, said to be programmed to attack aggressively just like the picket. Bastion, a drone ship made by the corporation named MGA, bigger, younger sibling of the Defender class drone ship, also made by MGA. Berserker, bigger version of the Warden. Its programming makes it uncaring for its own survival, attacks therefore recklessly and relentlessly. Rampart, an infamous drone ship, full of firepower and staying power in form of heavy armor, made to fight against cruisers and capital ships, as well as cracking apart star fortresses. Made in a way so drones could rapidly use destroyed or badly damaged ramparts to repair those with lighter damage, without needing shipyard repairs. Guardian, a seeming anomaly among the drone ships. There are elements of standard drone ships within the hull structure, but they are covered by malevolently angled glacis and illogical tangles of conduit. Surely this monstrous vessel is a product of some deranged domain naval architect, or a production of chip corrupted by exposure to kilolights of faulty drive fleet. I think this isn't a product of a corrupted ship of any kind of error. It's a ship made to be like it is for a reason. Most powerful of the derelict drones, not including the mothership, Guardian is most free form of the derelicts, least limited by the programming. Its task needing most power available, as it protects the cryo sleepers. Mothership, automated workhorse of the domain, the key to exploration and colonization effort, capable of creating smaller survey ships, an autoforge made to forever keep on its task. Even battered by the centuries, it continues its work. now forgotten. The derelicts we fight in the game I don't think are the ones which were used during the first expansion across the stars, at least not fully. Drones were made to cannibalize one another to continue their progress. It's possible that derelicts we see are combinations of old derelicts used over the ages by the domain and policies before it. First derelicts met the newer ones, they combined each other into newer models, that way gaining more resources and strength. This is a speculation of mine, of course, but I think it makes sense. Derelicts were made before shield technology was made, that's why most of them rely on hull and armor. Derelicts can be controlled by AI cores. Automated skill to use AI controlled ships works on them, and so AI cores can be put into them to control the derelict ships. This does not mean they are a good source of AI cores, most often only gamma cores drop from them. I don't remember exactly, Guardian only drops a gamma core and I think only the mothership drops alpha cores. What do those drops mean? It means that derelicts follow a tight code, programming which limits them, tells them how to act. Some possess gamma cores, cores of limited sentience and intelligence. This means that most of the drones are controlled by delta cores, simplest of AI cores which are fully legal even in the domain core and under the control of hegemony. This makes drones semi-sentient. Gamma cores may be given to drones leading fleets. The Guardian is given the gamma core because of its task protecting the cryo sleeper. At least in my playthroughs, the Guardian always drops an gamma core, never anything else. I've never been dropped a beta core or an alpha core from derelicts except the mothership. But maybe I'm completely wrong here. Why is then the mothership given an alpha core? Because it needs to have a proper understanding and intelligence for its task. Mothership, just like the name suggests, is the core, the mother of other derelict drones. It's given a nanoforge, making it possible to create other drones and possibly, maybe, AI cores of lower level. What's a nanoforge able to create depends on the blueprints and the nanoforge. I don't think an alpha core is capable of creating another alpha core. I think there is more needed for that, but this is just my speculation here. Of course, a nanoforge and alpha cores may drop from the mothership, however they also may not. This depends on RNG basically. In the lore, I think it could be explained. I think that all of the motherships possess a nanoforge and an alpha core. Like without them, I think they wouldn't be able to exist, basically. They wouldn't work. I think the reason why they don't drop sometimes, like nanoforges for example, is basically because of the damage we do to the mothership during the fight. I think that the lore reason for that, for them not dropping, is that we just damage the parts where the alpha core was, or we damage the part where nanoforge was, and that's why they don't drop. As we know, nanoforges are limited in what they create. Blueprints are needed for creating. Without those, a nanoforge corrupted or pristine cannot create anything. There are blueprints already within the nanoforges and others may be installed. Nanoforges of the motherships have blueprints that they need. Blueprints for all drones, delta and gamma cores put into the drones, and weapons. Possibly, there are also other blueprints in the motherships, so the domain can find them and use them later. What does this tell us? What do I constantly speak about when it comes to derelicts? Limitations. Derelicts are full of them. Their programming is limited. Level of AI cores they can use is limited. Forms they can take are limited. Motherships are limited to what they can fabricate from nanoforge templates. Those limitations were put on them for a reason. This reason being the knowledge the domain has of what happens when those limitations aren't put in place. Without those limitations, something terrible may happen, and has happened. Although the machines do not target human crew, those with cybernetic augments, common among spacers and of course company employees and officers, were harvested. we found it necessary to assign Marines to the damage control teams. Sealed Hollow report to be submitted to the Director of Special Acquisitions only. Onslaught class battleship. A legendary hull, a standard of the domain when it came to capital ships for a long time, said to be made to fight an alien threat. Today we know that its first variant, the Onslaught Mk1, was indeed made to fight an alien threat. This threat, alien, but made by humans, all derelicts, all drone ships, without limits imposed on them, without full sentience, made only to follow orders. And an order was given, and these derelicts, now known simply as threat, follow it to this day. They do not target humans. This means humans aren't they target, like duh, that's one of the stupidest sentences I wrote in a script ever. Deaths they cause are because they are ordered to destroy, defabricate, unfabricate everything. Human casualties are only a byproduct. After all, threat only follows orders. Those ships, those metal and cybernetic parts need to be defabricated. This seems to be the goals, or rather single goal, the threat has. However, remember, full game is not out yet, there's a lot of speculation, we have some information, some people may say even a lot of information, but we don't have all the information. So a lot of this is speculation. From the descriptions of threat ships, we can read that drone ships that became threat were made by Orion shipyards. The fabricator unit is described as matching Ilmari class mobile fabricator hull, matching it in 60%. Assault unit seems to be derived from Flugrite class frontier support cruiser, a standout of Orion shipyard design, matching it in 53%. From this, we may conclude that Orion shipyards indeed did create threat, but there's more about this in weapon descriptions of Neoferric quad coil. Some of those names I will completely butcher because I'm dyslexic, and also because the creators of Starsector like to use different words from all kinds of languages. I simply do not know, so yeah, sorry for that, but it's a little bit too late to say this in the video. I should have said this at the beginning. As the Starsector Corporation failed to meet original quotas, it buckled under pressure to transfer the procurement contract to Orion shipyards. Starsector later claimed damages from Orion shipyards due to the leak of license files to Black Web Forge pirates. From this, we learn that Starsector Corporation was responsible for creating weapons for the derelicts, or the drones. Orion shipyards pressured them until the Starsector bankrupted and its dissolution followed. This gave Orion shipyards complete control over the derelict project, both weapons and hulls. Now, I will go through the descriptions of threat ships, so you may hear those descriptions for yourself. I will begin with the frigates and ending with the capital, so from the smallest ship to the biggest one. Skirmish unit, closest match found to archive entry for Iklfa class frigate, 54% confidence, quarrying database, agile, and once Armada doctrine matured to the new conditions of Aquila Brigand's rebellion, the Invictus, wow, how do you read this word? Iklfa formed the, and here is redacted. Costly embarrassment at Men's Star was only the proverbial last road before criticality. Public outrage at all levels led to the opening of investigation into Senior. Shall not back down, we shall never withdraw from the belt of Orion and the Polaris frontier. So, there's a lot of information missing because Persian internet was destroyed by hegemony during the Second AI War, and a lot of this information about the threat is redacted. So yeah, we only get parts of information. Also, it is completely understandable, we don't want to be given all information at once, so that's one understandable. We want some speculation, you know, we want some speculation, and then we want to learn slowly, and then it all clicks together and we get the review and we go like, oh my god, it all makes sense now. Let's continue. Assault unit, closest match found to archive entry Erebid class destroyer, categorized 43, almost 44% confidence, quarrying database, Armada leadership, most of who escaped direct prosecution via the Great Wave, which saw nearly 400 senior officers resign from, of the interstellar quality and design assurance reforms, a series of acts passed over an energetic dozen cycles by the representative body of the human domain, and only so called by later historians, which built the legal basis for sweeping enforcement of fabrication rights management. Here in the Assault unit we learn a little bit information about the beginning of creating of the nanoforges and the limits that were being imposed on nanoforge production. Overseer unit, closest match found to archived NG4 Fulbright class frontier support cruiser, 53% confidence. Coring database, a standout of Orion shipyard design in the post-Emerald Age, Exodus. This frontier-rated utility platform featured a spinal mount microwave emitter modeled from orbit to domain infosec violation threshold warning. Data stream resetting, and she said, "Let the forges bloom in our human domain, so be crowned in the wealth and glory of 1,000 stars." Although the quote is attributed to the Terran core of the Sadr region, our battle groups stand ready to protect our way of life, our very existence. So threat became a complete threat to humanity, what we read here from the Overseer unit. Basically, there was a great war against the threat that pushed the domain itself, maybe not completely onto the brink of existence, pushed them really hard. You know, it was a battle to survive, a war to survive, excuse me. Line unit, closest match found to the archived entry for Carcades, class code 32% confidence. Coring database, first intended to replace Hadhoda class orbital siege capable heavy ballistic weapons platform, then considered a capital class warship in its own right before the 4th domain armada revised schema reclassification order. The Carcades was first deployed to battle conditions during the retaking of the Erdani insurrection. So maybe this Erdani insurrection we hear about was a rebellion from Erdani Utopia, but I don't think so. Making technology of signatures embedded at the nanochemical level by the nanoforge itself with only minimal effects on overall structural in. So what we learned from Overseer and Line unit, from Line unit we can find how much threat is changing, that there is only 32% confidence, there is only 32% of the original ship left, and Overseer unit again gives us a clue that it's from Orion shipyards. So yeah, Orion shipyards seems to be responsible for the creation of the threat. Hive unit, identification error, target matches no known class of ship in the domain registry or historical reference. Submit data for temporary entry, processing, error, domain infosec violation threshold warning, and there are more failures here, and process violated. Immediately contact Domain InfoSec to review compliance with domain information security standards. So Hive unit is completely new, it seems. Fabricator unit, closest match found to Archive entry for Ilmari class mobile fabricator hull, 60% confidence. Coring, despite the Megadeath incident at Hypacros during the 3rd cycle of the 204th assembly, this author argues that it was an act of human error bordering on malfeasance rather than automation, which accounts for frontier manufacturing base to leapfrog development in systems newly added to the gate network. So fabricator units were basically motherships before the motherships, without any limits. The Megadeath incident would be the moment the drones became threat. If that's true, then we know where it happened, at Hypacros, whatever that and whatever where it is. From descriptions of threat we can learn a few things. Nanoforges blueprints, as we know them now, were made because of their rebellion, their attack, not exactly on humans but on everything made by them, in process taking countless lives. So this will never happen again. Limitations were put on Derelicts and all types of nanoforges, even the soil nanites. Soil nanites cannot be used on planets with volatiles or translutic ore. Fuel is made from volatiles and equipment is made from metals made from ore. AI cores with full sentience were given to some derelicts. Motherships are given alpha cores for the reasons I already spoke about, but gamma cores are given to different ships along the delta cores. Threat lacks sentience. It can be argued if they have semi-sentience. With sentient AI cores, possibility of a misunderstood order is lowered. Such a core, even Gamma core, will understand that an order, for example, my favorite example, unfabricate or defabricate everything, doesn't mean everything, but means everything here in this place. Mistakes like this won't happen again. Still, those ships are limited because AI cores bring their own set of problems. In my opinion and understanding, threat is not sentient. It follows the orders given to it. It of course could be, like in description of fabricator unit is said, a human error or malfeasance. Threat may be pushed by some kind of instinct. It just knows what to do, or maybe just tries to do what it thinks works the best. Codes it uses are changed more or less, fabricator unit the least, but still 40%, while Lion unit is changed in 68%. Hive unit is an interesting one. We are not given any information about it. Those information are not redacted, they are simply non-existent. This could mean that Hive units are completely new ship made by Threat, or ships made from many others that they don't even resemble anything anymore. Both could be true. Something more I want to say is when I made the script, I was too lazy to write everything myself, so the descriptions I pulled from the wiki. In trivia, the author of the fabricator unit page says, quote, "Visually, the fabricator unit bears a striking resemblance to the Astral class carrier, with their protruding arms supporting weapon mounts, as well as hollowed out center sections resembling flight decks." Holy shit, mister, you are completely right. You have good eyes. Those things are true indeed. Astral does indeed resemble the fabricator unit in those aspects. What could this mean? If we take this as official lore, this means that human fleets are evolving, similar to the way threat fleets are evolving, or that Astral is made in the image of the fabricator unit or the previous fabricator Hul Ilmari. Director of Special Acquisition says, Threat and Ludic Church have much in common. Both eradicate technology for different reasons. One because it was ordered to do so, the others because they believe technology will destroy humanity. It's quite ironic that this simpler technology from around the same time like ships used by the Ludic Church and Path, like Invictus or Retribution, come from is the greatest bane humanity made and unleashed upon itself. Even more crazy would be if Loot, like many theorize I included, was Omega, the force said to protect Persean sector from outside threats, or so we think it protects the sector. With how little the threat resembles old original Orion shipyard's design and how Hive units seem to be fully new Threat vessels, we know Threat is changing, evolving through endless unfabricating and fabricating of new units. They aren't regurgitating old domain weapons anymore, although they still do that. They are using new weapons as well. Quote, "The space-time shearing effect appears to propagate at near, but not exactly local speed of light. Still working on that one. Ruled out sensor miscalibration. Can speculate at theoretical range. Limiting effective factor is the ability to focus within normal space. Damage to unhardened target is dramatic." I will have to write the official report later. We have so much new data coming in. Not sure how the bots could have cooked this one up on their own. Zunia is going to love it. Void Blaster is the name of the weapon talked about here. It is not something made by the domain and changed by the Threat later. It's a new weapon of unknown origin. I heard theories that Threat ate a Shrouded Dweller to make it. That's not possible. Threat cannot enter hyperspace. They exist from before the creation of hyperspace travel and use regular drives. Second, Dwellers explode upon their destruction, leaving small traces player is somehow able to gather. Question is, does the Threat have the same way to collect them? Possibly, but possibly not. I think that Threat made this weapon by eating high-tech weapons. Maybe. Just maybe, and would have mercy if this is the truth. Threat maybe ate an Omega ship and got its swarms on a weapon like this, making it into the Void Blaster. For now, many things about the Threat are unknown. We can make theories and speculate. We won't know how those Derelicts drones of old change when they move into the Persean sector. I think they will change much, as there will be more to devour and use. Thank you for watching. Did I miss things in this video? Yes, of course. I'm sure I missed a lot of stuff. Still, I think that lots of informations are in this video, and we simply still don't know everything about the threat. We still don't know much about the derelicts. Like, there isn't that much information actually about them. So yeah, if you like this video, like. If you dislike, dislike. Subscribe if you feel like subscribing, and leave a comment if you want to. That's it. Goodbye. Have a great day. And remember, these lore videos aren't everything yet. More information will be out, and then I will go through the lore again. And hopefully in the future, when the patch 1.0 comes out, we will have full lore, so I can go over the full lore of Starsector. And now, like I said, goodbye, and remember, detect the threat before it detects you.